Who is your favorite centerman over 6K tonight?
There's a mid full of them available, and I'm going to say you can make a great case for Crosby, Aho, and Zibanejad near the top of the list, but I'm going to go a little lower and say Steven Stamkos for Tampa, only $6,400, 11 points in his last 10 games. Got a nice matchup against New Jersey at home. And if Evgeny Malkin, before AJ gets to him, I'll say this. This guy's a bargain tonight at $6,700 home against Seattle. He's off to a great start since he rejoined the lineup and gives this team a deeper look, and they're on fire right now. So I'm going to stack a few pens. That's a surprise to my partner, I'm sure.
AJ, he teed you up. Go ahead.
Well, he's finally listening to me. That's the biggest thing. I keep telling him, look, straight away, guys, I'm not going to recommend any Penguins tonight because I don't need to repeat myself for the third time this week. So use them is my suggestion, but I'm going to highlight some other guys throughout the league here. So we'll start with the fact that the Jackets just got absolutely shelled last night, and there's no reason to think that's not going to happen again. So looking for a heavy Rangers stack starting tonight with Mika Zibanejad at 7,500. He was held off the score sheet versus the Kings on Monday, but had been on an 8-game point streak. And with line mate Chris Kreider scoring goals at a ridiculous rate right now, I think you stick with Mika Zibanejad tonight, get him in there, and do a Rangers stack on this slate.
Where's the cheap love for, Ryan Strome here, Pete? Somebody like that.
Well, I agree with AJ. You got to get one of the Rangers' big five, assuming Shesterkin starts, but they have as good of a big five as anybody probably outside of Tampa Bay in the entire league this season. But I'm going with, for my top price center, Sebastian Aho, 7,700 in DraftKings. The Hurricanes are one of the best teams in the league. They're facing Vegas, or they're facing Ottawa, excuse me. Ottawa is allowing the 6th most goals per game in the NHL, and the Hurricanes are scoring the 4th most per game in the NHL. So it's a great matchup advantage. You see Aho making some magic with Teuvo Teravainen right now at even strength. And then when he gets out there on the power play, super dangerous are the Hurricanes with him and Tony DeAngelo and Andrei Svechnikov. You saw that connection on the overtime goal to finish the last game. So I'm riding the hot hand with Sebastian Aho, who's having a career year in terms of points per game.
All right, same price range again. That's north of 6K. Preferred wing. AJ, maybe another Ranger here?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no surprise here, but it's Chris Kreider for sure at 6,300. He's so much cheaper than the rest of the wingers. There's 9 other wingers ahead of him in the price range. He's on a 6-game goal streak right now, and that includes a pair of multi-goal efforts. I would fully expect him to absolutely light up the Jackets, as I said. Columbus coming in on the 2nd game of a back-to-back. They're confirmed to be starting Jonas Korpisalo, who's got like 1 win in his last 7 outings. This is a matchup made in heaven for the Rangers and Chris Kreider.
See, Paul, is it weird? I thought he was going to say Panarin.
Yeah, it is, because Chris Kreider's scoring more goals than anybody in the league, friend. and so he makes a compelling case, and I'm right in lockstep with AJ on that one. But I'm going to go to the tandem of Gaudreau and Tkachuk. They're outscoring everybody right now, 21 points each in their last 10 games played, and they're also in that range of the mid-6s in terms of pricing tonight. And I'd try and find a way to get both of them in the lineup. You know that they skunked St. Louis last week. Could be more of the same tonight because Jordan Binnington's been a little unsettled in goal of late, and Billy Husso's been pressed into service. So that's the case there. Kyle Connor is a nice pick at the top of the board, $8,100 at home against Vancouver. He's among the top scorers in the league again, and among the top goal scorers in the league again. So better than a point per game. You'll pay up to get him, but I think he could pay off big tonight too.
Pete, who stands out to you?
Well, Kyle Connor, I agree, is bringing a heavy shot volume on a nightly basis right now, so try to get him into your lineup. Johnny Gaudreau, just to add on what Paul said, 14 points during his 6-game point streak. He's had a couple of 3+ point games, including a 4-point game against the St. Louis Blues earlier in the week. The only thing I would worry about maybe is if they go with Ville Husso, the goalie, who's been red hot, instead of Jordan Binnington, who has not been hot. And then one other guy, I know we were talking over 6K, but too good to pass up here at 5,200, Mark Stone from the Vegas Golden Knights. He's facing Spencer Knight, so that could be bounce back city. So just wanted to add that in there, that I really like Mark Stone in my mock draft tonight.
Pete, let's stay with you. We'll drop the floor a little bit, see this would have fit for Mark Stone. He's 5K now, and we're talking about your favorite defenseman. Who do you like here?
I'm going off the Rangers plays here. I'm going with Adam Fox for 6,400 in DraftKings. I love that price point. I think Fox, he's leading all defensemen in points right now. He's got a nice little point streak of his own. And then, what AJ mentioned about Columbus, they gave up 62 shots in one game. That's the most of any team allowed in the NHL this season. So how bad could it get on the second of a back-to-back against the potent Rangers offense? I'd like to find out, and I'd like to get their power play point man in Adam Fox into my lineup for, I think, a moderate price when you're looking at arguably the best defenseman in the NHL over the past 2 seasons combined.
You have quite a few good options here, AJ. Obviously, Fox, as mentioned, there's Tony DeAngelo. You've also got Jacob Trouba. Who do you like?
Well, I'm going to go out of those 3. I'm going to go with the former blue shirt in Tony DeAngelo right now. I like Fox for sure, and I think you have to try and get him in there. I'd take him over Trouba if I'm being honest, but of the 3, I really like I said, Tony DeAngelo for 6,100. It's a pretty big discount compared to the top of the board. He's certainly not cheap, but he's not going to break the bank like a Roman Josi. Solid matchup tonight facing the Senators. He's also on a 5-game point streak in which 6 of his 9 points have come with the man advantage. So you get that little bit of boost from power play points as well. He's probably not going to be a contrarian play because of how hot he is right now, but I think it's still a good spot to put him in.
Pablo, what do you say?
I can't believe AJ's staying away from the Penguins. They're the hottest team in the league right now that I can think of. And so you got to make the case for Chris Letang tonight against Seattle. That's a nice matchup. You'll pay up to get him, $7,500, but 13 points and 29 shots in his last 10 games played. Yes, please, sign me up. I agree the case is stunning for Adam Fox tonight, though. 7th on the DK board. This guy is the top defenseman in hockey right now. $6,400, that's a screaming hot bargain. So between those 2 guys, that's great choices. But then I'll also agree with AJ that DeAngelo is another compelling case. Favorable matchup against Ottawa, 12 points and 12 blocks and 23 shots on goal, all in his last 10 games played. That's better than 13 DK points per night.
So, Paul, we'll stay with you. Before I let you guys go, we need a top value option tonight, under 5K, any position. I got ridiculed by Jeff yesterday when I shouted out Andre Kasha. How about we go Tyler Mott tonight? What do you think?
There's a lot of other options better than him, I'll say. That's not a bad one, but I like, you know what? I'm going to go off the board. I'm going to show some love for the Montreal Canadiens. How about that? Save this clip. Tyler Toffoli, $4,800 from Montreal at home against Anaheim. They're on the second of back-to-backs. It was a shooting gallery in Toronto last night. Anaheim didn't show me anything. They're on a road trip, and they've done well so far, but I think it takes a hit tonight. Toffoli, for his part, 9 points, 25 shots on goal in his last 10. Low ownership for sure. Alex Kellorn, another guy from Tampa that is overlooked, $4,500 the price tag despite his 10 points in his last 10 games. I talked about the nice matchup hosting New Jersey. And then finally, Alex Iafallo, he's become a fixture in the top 6 for LA. 7 points, 31 shots on goal in his last 10 for LA at the Islanders, costing only $4,200.
Pete, who do you have?
I have Andre Palat. He's a tad under 5,000 at 4,700. He's expected to return for the Tampa Bay Lightning in a very favorable matchup that we haven't mentioned enough in this segment. They're playing the New Jersey Devils, who have allowed at least 3 goals in each of their past 6 games. So Tampa Bay is going to probably steamroll the Devils here. Even if it's a high-scoring game, I wouldn't be surprised if the Devils stayed competitive offensively, but would be very shocked if the Lightning didn't win this game and if Palat didn't get onto the score sheet. Even with Kucherov on COVID protocol, he's still playing with Braden Point, one of the best centers in the league, all things considered. So I'm rolling out Palat sub 5,000. I think that qualifies as a value pick.
AJ, your turn.
Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call the local PD by Paul and have him do a wellness check, because him saying good things about the Habs is not a good thing. Something's got to be wrong with Paul there. But in terms of my value guy, look, I'm going to scrape the actual bottom of the barrel here and go with Sam Steele for the Ducks at 2,500. He brought his 27-game goal drought to a close last night with a goal and an assist against Toronto. Maybe that's what's wrong with Paul. He saw them almost lose to the Ducks. But, you're talking about a guy who's going into a matchup with the Habs, just got this huge goal drought off his back. And I think that's going to be a nice boost of confidence for him. So at $2,500 for what that lets me do for the rest of my lineup, I'll take the risk. It's possible he goes out there and puts up an absolute zero. But the Habs are just too good of a matchup to not at least consider taking somebody from Anaheim tonight. And why not save yourself some money with Sam Steele?